A very warm welcome here at 5 things that I learned from dancing about our relational intelligence. My name is Hannelie Venucia and I'm from the Possibility Gap and the Joy Generation. And thank you for showing up like this today and sharing this experience with me in this way. So the invitation is to sit back and relax and to join me on a quick adventure. We're going to travel way back into the past. And we're going to find ourselves in Manitoba, Canada, and it's the year 1883. Now imagine what life like was then. And we are joined by Ernest Thompson Seton, a Canadian-American writer and wildlife artist. But that's not the important part. What happens next and what's unfolding is what's really fascinating. 15 little prairie chickens just hatched under a hen. And 2 weeks later, we are visited by a fierce cold storm. And Ernest takes these young fledglings, chilled and cowering, and he puts them underneath the stove so that they can stay warm. And then it begins. One of these little things, barely bigger than a sparrow, jumps up, runs across the tin, crowing a very joyful, bubbly crow, wings beating very fast, and feet stamping on the floor so fast and rapidly that it sounds like a kettle drum. And then what unfolds is even more exciting. In one go, all at once, all the others leap up. Everyone taking exactly the same position. Heads low, tail stumps raised, wings out, stamping and pounding their feet on the floor so hard that it amplifies that sound of the kettle drum. Vibrating vigorously, fully alive. A dance, a true dance. A dance that their parents did way before them, even though they never met them. We are all born to dance. A rhythmic, authentic, vigorous expression of health and joy. Now, Angela Sareen, an anthropologist, said that when she was in the Andes and in the Amazon and the places like that, the shamans would ask those who are suffering and or are in pain, when did you stop dancing? Now, I've got a question for you, and no, it's not to ask you when you stop dancing. It's rather an invitation to start dancing, if you've never done that. But yet my question is about something else. Who populates your world? So just take a moment to sense into that and feel into that. Who populates your world currently? And have you ever felt that exuberance, that vigorous, authentic, rhythmic expression of joy and health when you are together with these people? Has it ever happened? Now there's a dance going on inside of us as we are sitting here together. An incredible dance. And for any dance to happen, there's a relation between people. And that relation between our heart and our blood, that dance going on between them. And the dance between all our trillions of cells and our billions of neurons and all our systems, the relation between all of them. And yet each have its own function, unique function, yet they work together in perfect harmony. They dance together in perfect harmony, if we are healthy, that is. Everything around us, we relate to it, everyone, on some level. And relation is the essence of everything, says Master Eckhart, a philosopher. And even physicist David Bohm said that no matter what we discover and do in science and other areas in life, if we as humanity don't find a way to deeply relate to each other, we are in big trouble. Relation is the basis of our well-being. And we know that whatever we put our attention on, we have a relation to that. We learned that in quantum physics. So relation is a very important part and aspect of our lives, of being alive right now. And yet there's this dance going on at the same time within us. And it depends on how we experience others, because our relations impact everything we do, say, believe. It infuses all our actions and interactions and engagement, and it happens before those. Relation is before engagement and interaction even, because it infuses it with some type of quality. So it's important for us to understand our relational intelligence that's here in our bodies. Now, just to give you an example of that, we have put so much effort and emphasis on our mental cognition that we've even mentalized our emotions. We even mentalized our relational intelligence. So we have this mental concept and construct of what our relations should look like and how we should behave in them and act in them and the likes. Now let me show you what we're doing, just to give you a little bit of context. So it's a ship, right? A relationship. So it's a container so that we can freely move in that container, be together, work together, play together, whatever it is we do together. And there need to be at least two people for a relation to be able to happen. But this ship can't stay in the harbor, right? It's meant to go out on the ocean. So there's movement. It's traveling somewhere. Yet we as human beings think that and believe that we are staying the same all the time, that we don't grow and develop. And then there's an imbalance in that ship, in that relationship of some kind. And then we want to get out of the ship when there's troubled water. And then we don't know where to go to. We feel trapped perhaps. Or there's manipulation or codependency if it's not an equal exchange of energy. And we become very unhappy. But it's because we've created this mental construct. That's what we look against. We don't see anything else. We can't perceive any other possibility. Because a relationship is a felt experience. It's not an idea. It's not an opinion. It's not a belief. It's something that we truly feel when we're together with others. Like that authentic, vigorous, rhythmic expression of health and joy. Feeling totally alive when we are together with others. And it's a felt experience. So what did I learn from dancing about our relational intelligence? It's quite fascinating. Let me share them with you. But before I go into that, I'd like to share our 5 interrelated primal desires. Love, security, meaning and purpose, creativity and joy, which I'll come back to after I share my 5 aspects that I discovered through dancing, because it's all linked together. Now, in terms of dancing, no matter whether it's formal, structured, informal, free flow, free expression, or whether it's the internal dance into ourselves, like more a shamanic dance, it doesn't matter what the dance sport or the dance form is about. We choose the movement we will follow. There's usually some kind of process, even if it's free dancing. It's our ability to move by ourselves, in our own way, on our own terms. So we choose the movement we are going to follow, and we follow that synergistically. And it's a conscious, aware decision. And we even choose the direction that we will follow because we're traveling across the room. And we can change that direction whenever we want. And what more is we create a space for us to express ourselves fully and freely, our unique expressions, so that our individuality and originality can come through. So we create that safe space that we can move in. There are clear boundaries, yet there's freedom, which is linked to our security, feeling safe. So we create that beautiful space and now we can express ourselves. And then we move in unison. If it's, for instance, a partnership or a pair moving together, or even in a group fashion, there is unison. It creates a bigger picture. In sync, so there's resonance. There's a feeling of feeling good, like with those chickens, that exuberance coming forth. It doesn't matter how I feel today. Today I might want to dance close to my body, and tomorrow more expressive, and that's all good. I have that freedom to do that, but yet I'm moving in a unit, in sync, resonant, aligned, coherent, and synchronized. And it's a felt experience. When we learn to dance, a specific dance form, it's not about remembering the steps and memorizing them, because then we're in our heads. It's about feeling it and sensing into it. Because our cellular memory and our kinesthetic awareness which gymnasts and dancers and athletes have been using for decades to master their art and their skill, is available to us. And we have trillions of cells and only billions of neurons. So we have a lot more cells, cell memory, a lot of other physical body intelligence that we can tap into when we dance, when we move around. So it doesn't matter whether you do a formal dance or informal dance where you just put on the music and you dance to the beat in your own space, or whether you have an internal dance during meditation. It doesn't matter what your journey is like. You have that free expression of that. And you move with that rhythm. And if something is off, it learns us how to discern. If something is off, we don't go there. We have the ability to say no. That's why in dancing you are invited, right? Shall we dance? And we have the ability to say yes or no. And through this whole experience of moving in a unit together, seamless, we have the ability not to only say yes or no, to change the direction or change the movement. We have the ability to retain our own individuality, because we can easily lose ourselves in relationships and then they become unbalanced. So through dancing, we're able to show up fully and be together with others, work together with others, co-create together with others, something most beautiful. So a fusion and a blending of energies to create something that we can't create on our own. Yet we retain that originality and that individuality. So there's nothing to fear. But yet there's an important part out of dancing that's really important to realize in terms of our relational intelligence, is that no matter who leads, who follows, whether we blend, so we're coming together, and whether we're letting go, so we're going outwards again, so there's no grasping and clinging and the likes, or whether we reunite again, we learn where we stop and where others begin, so our own space. And we are responsible for our own well-being in our own space. And we learn how to respect other people's spaces and our own self-love and self-care and self-regulating. So we're taking really good care of ourselves, self-responsibility in relation, when we're in relation to others. So if I'm tired today, I won't go the full length. I might just go and lie down and listen to the music in free dancing, for example. But it's up to me. I can make that choice. And if I don't feel good, I can say, we won't dance today. I'll come tomorrow or the day after, whenever. So there's that freedom of choice. But that ability to sense and feel where our space begins and ends is very important. Now, what you can do at home, you can just put your hands up and walk through the room and simply notice the energy changes and the temperature changes that you feel as you move from one place in a room to another, especially if there are people around, because we're relating to everything and everyone, and you begin to feel it in the palms of your hands. That's an important aspect of a healthy relationship, knowing where our boundaries are, what's good for us or not, what's resonant, and then we begin to morph to those who we're really resonant with, and we can co-create and work together in most magnificent ways through that. So it doesn't matter what the step is. It's more important of feeling the felt experience of being together. So it's not about the idea we have in our heads or a mental construct. The other thing that's really important is there's a clear intention of what this relationship is about and a deep understanding of each other, which goes beyond our mental cognition. It's a whole person experience. And we don't have to think about it. It helps us to discern in this world where we really need to be careful where we spend our energy and who we engage with and who we work together and co-create together. So it creates trust on a much deeper level. And that deeper understanding is something that I will share a little bit more about when I go back to those 5 interrelated primal desires, which are very important, the match between all of this. But there's so much going on while we're dancing. And yes, it can be very playful and joyful, which is one of those 5. So that exuberance, mischief, encouraging others, enticing them, yet respecting them if we want to have a more inner dance, if they don't really want to engage. So a lot of self-respect and respect for others are harnessed through the dancing process. Joy, absolute joy, and I'll come back to that. And then creativity. Something really shifts when we realize that we're co-creating that space. That's power, that's autonomy. We're co-creating, we're equal partner in this, no matter what our role is in all of this. And we're co-creating a pattern, moreover. And we have the choice to change it. But it's up to us. It's a mutual decision. If there's no longer resonance, or when something feels off, we can regroup and realign. So creating that pattern is a powerful aspect. We are also born to create, not only born to dance. And we're telling a story with whatever we are expressing, whether it's the closer inner dance with ourselves, or whether it's together with others in a group or a pair. There's power in that. It really shifts us to another place in our relationships, that we realize we are co-creating something together here. It's not just about being together or working together. The next one, meaning and purpose, which this leads to. Whether we witness, and that we use not only our 5 physical senses, also our kinesthetic awareness, or whether we're participating in a dance and contributing to it. Doesn't matter what role we play. There's always somebody who holds the space. But for that space to be embryonic, that something can be created, something else happens in the background. We begin to be able to feel and sense and see the flow of energy between people, and whether it's actually equal energy exchanges. That's a powerful thing because it goes beyond our mental filters, our biases and the likes, and our limited frames of reference sometimes. That's the important part. It gives us meaning onto another level when we are relating with others and in relation with others. Not only that ability to see that in an organization, in a team, but also to perceive it when we are just witnessing it in others. Powerful in the world that we currently live in here in the 21st century as part of our relational intelligence. The other aspect that's giving us a lot of meaning and purpose is one that also creates a huge shift in our relationships, regardless of the type of relationship, whether it's professional, personal, or social, is when 2 people come together and more, a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th energy and the likes are created. That is bigger than the sum of their own individual ones. So this blending of energies during the dance process creates that bigger energy, and that has a quality. And when we discover what that quality is about, then we really can go to town with what we want to co-create together. It's incredible when that penny drops, because we can feel that energy. It doesn't have a name yet. And through our relational intelligence discovery journeys, we have an opportunity to feel and experience it physically as well. So it's not just a mental idea. It's not just an assessment that's mental. It's a felt experience. And that shifts all relationships. Likewise, love is one of those 5. Love in terms of reverence for each other, so respect each other's space, respecting each other showing up in the way we do. It even changes our posture and how we walk through life and move through life. It impacts everything to have that experience of deep reverence for each other. And that there is that mutuality, a mutual beneficial relationship in this nature. There's equal importance to each person's novel contribution and wisdom and energy signature and the way they are showing up in the world, regardless of relational hierarchies. That's an incredible thing. That's powerful. It's a deeper understanding. It goes beyond that mental level and mental constructs of each other. And once we dig into those deeper understandings on the relational intelligence level, everything begins to change in the way we work together, co-create together, and also in the way we can co-create coherence within our teams, groups, communities, ecosystems, and networks. It's powerful. Likewise, we go into space between gifting and receiving when we dance like that. What does that mean? We immediately are shifted out of a give-get mindset. It's a mindset. Because this is a felt experience, we feel we're in that space. I don't have to protect anything. I don't have to prove myself. I have to ask for permission or to prove that I'm good enough and the likes, or that I won't have enough. Even in competitive dance sport, when we discover on this deeper level that we are co-creating something unique and special here, because there could be a whole floor full of dancers doing the Argentinian tango, yet they will all interpret and express it very differently, and they will choreograph it very differently. And that understanding, so I don't care about the others, it's about me and you. When we dance together, we're perfecting this dance. So it's not about the others, because we're going into a co-creative space. And that changes the way we work together as well. Security, the last one. It's good to be with you. It feels safe to be with you because there are clear boundaries, there's trust, there are clear intentions, and there's this deeper understanding that we can tap into our relational intelligence. It's powerful. It's like with those chickens, there's entrainment then. So it takes one if everybody else is down. It takes one person to uplift them all and to begin this new dance, a new way of moving together with each other, of co-creating together, of working together. It's powerful. So those 5 interrelated primal desires, in dancing we attend to all of them. Love, security, meaning and purpose, creativity and joy. And that joy factor is powerful when we discover that. And you may say, but we're not all compatible. It's difficult to create coherence when there's so much going on in this virtual hybrid world that we currently live in. That's sometimes asynchronistic. So how do you create inspired, synchronistic, aligned, generative, coherent action and interaction in such cases? Now, yes, we know oil and water don't gel, do they? They don't mix. Why? Because water is polar, it has a positive and a negative parts, whereas with oil, it's non-polar. So it will be attracted and it will merge with non-polar substances. And likewise, the same with water. But now we want them to mix because they are in our teens. They seem not to be compatible. Yet, we need an emulsifier to make them mix. Now, with water and oil, egg yolk, for example, fulfills that blending faculty. But we discovered the joy factor, which is our emulsifier in our relations. And if you are curious about that, you're most welcome to reach out to me, because it's an adventure. It's not a mental assessment. We are exploring deeply on a whole body experience, body, mind, heart, and soul, using all our faculties to explore and feel and direct our relational intelligence in a purposeful and meaningful way, that we can weave together something amazing, that we can co-create something amazing, and the space for it to happen, and to explore that 3rd, 4th, and 5th energy that we co-create in the process, and the ability then to begin to also track the flow of energy between our relations. That's powerful. So if you're curious about that, you're also most welcome to reach out to me. And the outflow of that experience, of that adventure, that discovery adventure, is the compatibility and coherence profile, where we can now really see what can we bring together, that we can improve our relatedness between each other, that gives us a deeper understanding of each other, because we are exploring 54 relational intelligence aspects of ourselves in the process, that we can direct our energies in a more powerful and meaningful way. There is no need for power struggles when we have that deeper understanding of each other and of ourselves, most of all. There's no need for dominance, for dissonance, for intolerance. So thank you for being with me. There's so much I can share with you about dancing relating to our relational intelligence and the effect it has on all our relations and our ability to co-create and work together and to co-create coherence, because it is the essence of everything and the essence of our well-being. So I've got just one last question for you. In the world that you populate and that populates the people that populates your world, how often do you feel totally alive, coming alive like those chickens? Rhythmic, authentic, vigorous expression of health and joy. And maybe if you don't, all you need is the emulsifier, the joy factor. So thank you for being with me today. And next week we will share 5 things I learned from chess about strategy. So I'd like to invite you to take a hand dance with whoever you are working together or playing together. And all you do is let your hands dance together. And don't let them touch. Just playfully moving. And it's not about who's leading and who's following. Just begin to feel the energy that's flowing between you and others. And there's deep respect for each other's space in this process too. So it's not about dominance. Now, have a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to be with you next week again. Goodbye.